Hi everyone. If you live here, could you please say something in the chat? Hello. Um, we are finally here. I see the first person showed up. I understand that that's probably not a good time for streaming. Yeah, that's good catch. Let me try to share the translation. I was assuming it kind of show up on the YouTube automatically. Share. Okay, copy link, and I need to send it. Okay. Okay, still, I just switched to another computer and I don't have my social networks logged in here. Okay, great. Someone shared it to the chat. Okay, thank you for joining. Do we start with questions or do we start with a general description of the course? Just give me one more second. I will share the link to the Telegram. It was quite a mission to have everything set up, and I spent last 3 hours doing that. Do you hear me okay now? Меня хорошо слышно? Okay, great. I was planning to have 2 cameras, one for the one screen for the desktop and one camera for myself. But while I was setting up everything, my camera battery died, and I didn't get a cable timely for streaming without a battery, so it will be only screen share. Sorry for that. I will try to fix it next time. Let me start with some introductions. I've been working in accounting since 2000. I can say 2007, but I was an intern back then. And when the crisis hit, I went for like a long break, and then I returned to Big Four back in Ukraine, and I spent 6 years working in Ukraine in Big Four, and then I moved to United States. Also to the same, I was transferred within the same company on L1 visa to PricewaterhouseCoopers to San Jose, California, and I worked a couple of years there, and then I found a job in the industry, and I started working as a deputy controller, and I also do kind of treasurer functions, but it's not in my position description. And a few words about the course. It is going to be the entry-level course, and we will start with basic definitions, and we will build from there. I will try to share my personal opinion about how important any definition is and how frequently we will be using that in like a real work environment. And after we get some understanding of the definitions, we will move to doing the accounting entries, and we try to do the practice in actual real life accounting software. Quickbooks takes like about 80% of United States market for accounting software. Internationally, the Xero is probably more popular, but in US Xero is like 5% or something like that. So QuickBooks is really a big deal on the start. Unless you have a career, or you're going to have a career in some relatively big company, then you will have to deal with other packages like Oracle or SAP or Sage, that kind of things. Okay, I see comments about quality. Did you have any thoughts about the course? Like maybe something is not clear from my communication previously and I need to fix something. Okay, so accounting 1 and 2, that's great. Did you keep the memories of accounting? I mean, like, do you still remember the theory, or do you need to kind of go through it again? When you learn the theory in college or on some courses, it's always best to attach it to the practice, and that's why I want everyone to kind of install, register for QuickBooks for accountants online, and create a free account there, and they also have all the QuickBooks certifications available there, and that that will kind of keep your knowledge, theoretical knowledge, stick to the practice. Okay, we have a question from Andrei about what people with some accounting knowledge and experience get on the C4 position in the practice. Thank you for the question, Andrei. The plan is that people who have I would say higher than the starting experience, maybe a couple of years of career, they will kind of connect with other people who have an experience. I plan to create like a separate chat for people, for experienced people in the course, just to make kind of some networking possible. And the second experience which you can get here is like a real life experience of managing a team of kind of unexperienced members. It can be a good point to discuss on a job interview. Like, for example, I would like a theoretical example, you work as an accounts receivable accountant in small company, so you are kind of the one accountant there, and maybe you have some boss and you don't have your own subordinates, and you want to change your job, and you go on an interview to become like a senior accounts receivable accountant in a bigger company, or maybe some accountant manager in a bigger company, and they most likely will ask you a question: what's your experience like managing other accountants or other entry-level accountants? And you will be able to say that maybe you have some other experience, I don't know, maybe you manage a baseball team or your homeowners association or some charity or something in the church, but you also can say that you were going to the trainings, and on those trainings you were in charge of the team, and you managed 3 or 4 unexperienced people and helped them learn accounting knowledge and check their work. It's if you don't have such experience at work, it's a good point for discussion on the job interview, on the future job interview. Did I answer your question, Andrei, or so I understand that, and I stated in my course materials that the less starting knowledge and experience you have, the more you can get from the course. And I understand that people in the later stages of their career, like 3 years of experience, when they already manage someone on their work, they basically can get very little from the course. They can get some, a good point for discussion on the job interview, or in some future sessions I plan to cover resume or CV. Like I will tell how I've done it and what tips and tricks I learned when I was changing jobs, and what people from my network do. And also they can probably gain some network with the colleagues. At least I hope that some connections that we will build here will last for longer than the duration of that course. And that's basically it. I cannot come up with anything else right now, but if something comes to my mind, and if I can manage to realize that in the course, I will do that. Or if you have any idea which you think is realizable in that format, we can do that too. Okay, does anyone have problems registering for QuickBooks for accountants? Because I remember in the chat there was a question that they only see the paid version, but the accountant version, QuickBooks Online for accountants, it should be free, and it is, I believe it's the only version which have free QuickBooks certification available. Okay. So if you have any issues with QuickBooks, you can always go to the messenger and ask your question. And one more point about QuickBooks. I recommend you to start doing or to continue doing during the course the self-study of QuickBooks, because I would expect that my course will take probably 40 hours till the end of the year, and I think we will not go deep into QuickBooks, and QuickBooks alone is probably like 60 hours to get their training done. So it's not it's a big investment of time in terms of if you want to get the certification. You will need to spend a good amount of time there, and during the course we will use some basic QuickBooks functionality on the level of just a tracking company or some contractor doing some remodeling, but probably not even the construction company, because construction company has its own issues like related to construction in progress and all that stuff. I'm not sure we will have time to cover that. I also wanted to share, so I assume the people who came here Sunday night, they are quite motivated, and they probably followed the newsletters I shared and messages on the Facebook or social media. So far, the most important document in the Google Drive is the schedule document. Okay, I see that there is probably a delay in the video. Let me see if I can change that. Okay, I probably can't. Okay, so the schedule is already on the screen. Is it? Okay, why? just a second. I'm checking. Are you able to see anything from the schedule on your screen? Hey everyone, could you please advise if you are able to see anything on the screen? I mean, is it blurry or is quality like satisfactory? Okay, thank you. And I will answer Oksana question just in 1 second. So regarding my decision to start that course, I reached some point at my career where I probably stay for a while and do not see significant growth. We might discuss that further on the career sections because I left. When you stay in the accounting firm, there is kind of a hiring practice when you either grow or quit or leave the company. So in accounting firm, your growth is kind of happens automatically, and if you can't grow anymore, you are kind of fired. But it's usually you take your decision to leave. You just feel that it's time to leave. It's not that cruel that they just fire you. They help you to find a job. They do everything to keep you happy, except for work-life balance. So work-life balance is not that good. So I left for the industry, and in my current job responsibilities, I do pretty routinely tasks, like my every month looks almost the same as the previous months. So numbers, revenues and expenses numbers change, but the responsibilities which I do, like the entries and reviews and reports, they mostly stay the same. And the only things which don't happen every month are the things which happen like every quarter or every year, like doing the financial statements or filing the taxes. And it's all the same. And after a couple of years, you just optimize your workload, and you reach some relatively good work-life balance. And when I did that, I realized that I need something more, like to have some new experience in my career. I believe it will help to build my resume if I manage to do the course. I also think that if I like the process, and if I do based on my own expectations, if I perform pretty good, I can kind of redo this course and sell it for commercial purposes. That is why I will be seeking feedback proactively about what you liked and what you didn't like, and you also feel free to share the feedback, because it really brings a lot of value for me in that experiment. And I always felt I always loved to study, and when I studied, I always used like free materials, because now there is a lot of good quality free materials around, like Coursera, edX, MIT, Harvard. They all have free courses, and I decided that I want to do that too, and see what I'm capable of, and see if I can bring some value to other people, like to do something which other people will find valuable. So that's hopefully that's answer your question, Oksana. Schedule all good. I opened on my own computer. Does anyone watch that from mobile device? Thank you for your question, Oksana. About a CPA company, and that's something we will also look at in our career discussions. When you start your own business, it's usually that you have to work 40 hours in your business and then another 40 hours on your business. Like you will have to spend the same amount of time which you do actual accounting, like tax returns or financial statements or bookkeeping. You will have to spend the same time to actually work with clients, and you have to find that process kind of satisfactory. It's a good place to be in when you already built your CPA company, but going there will require like pretty big sacrifices, unless you want to go very slowly, getting one client at a time, earning maybe $10,000 a year in your first year and $20,000 in your second year. There is just a big gap between where I am now and going back to basic and starting from close to nothing. And I also don't want to kind of engage in I also don't want to get in like a CPA firm as my second job in addition to the job I currently have. I was expecting that doing online course will take less of my time, but it's kind of administrative matters and all the course creation process is quite time consuming, but at least I can do it in the evenings. And if I start a CPA firm, I will have to reach out to clients during the business hours, and that won't be possible with keeping my current job. And I don't want to leave my current job. So that's why I don't want to start my own CPA company. Okay. Thanks, Andrei. If you can be more specific about examples, I will do that. But on the course, so it's all that's not great that there is a lag between my screen and what I'm telling you, but we will probably have to live with that. So on the top you will see the header of the table, and you also see that I've already put some pre-course work here, and in the links you will see that I linked I linked some my YouTube videos here, and in the yellow cells there are the short videos which I plan to create, and in the column G you will see that I put links to MIT there, and I just wonder what examples does Andrei wants to see. Okay, let's. So if Andrei can tell me what examples he meant. Oh, general examples of homeworks. Okay, I will answer Oksana question first, and then I will return to examples of the homeworks. Okay, making a partner in an existing CPA firm. If we go back to the drive and go to module 0, accounting careers. So the way to the partner in the firm is kind of a known information. It's not secret, and it's published. So there is no secrecy about that. When I in Ukraine, I was a manager on a manager level, and there is also two or three steps to the partner. And the main thing when you want to become a partner, you need to bring a new business to the firm at some point. So pretty much when you are consultant or senior associate or manager, it's just like hours of hard work which you put in the job, just like hard skills, accounting matters, project management, that kind of things. And also on the manager level, it's already the amount of efforts which you put into development of your staff, of a junior staff, and starting probably from manager or senior manager, you will also get kind of KPIs regarding how much new revenue you need to bring to the firm. And you can bring the revenue to the firm via doing trainings, selling trainings, helping partners with acquisition of new business, of new clients. And you need to be quite good at that, or at least you need to be kind of consistent and disciplined. So it's not that easy to switch from like a laptop introvert work when you just do some spreadsheets to communication with clients, to reaching out. I remember back in a Big Four, from time to time we were getting tasks to do some cold calling about trainings or about some projects in the firm, and you cold call the company and you get to the person which is probably kind of decision making, but they totally don't understand who are you and what are you trying to sell them, and there is like a little need in that, and those exercises back then felt so useless, and it was pretty frustrating, honestly speaking. And most people kind of get their career to that levels by sticking with the right partners. I would say so. It's just like a partner sharing his workload with you, rather than you getting some new clients from outside of firm's existing clients and bring them to the firm. And to be able to do that, you need to be good at many angles, in the accounting, in the soft skills, in the networking, and you kind of need to win some favor from the senior members of the company, so that they will support you, and you need to support them and not fail much. Okay, Olga, I will answer your question, and then I will go back to Andrei's question. After the course, and we will cover that in one of the videos, and I plan to release a video like that about starting out as a bookkeeper, from kind of with some education or with no education. I would say that if you finish a course and you do a QuickBooks certification, you will be able to start as a bookkeeper in a bookkeeper company. I mean, you will be able to get an entry-level job in the bookkeeper company. And most on the interview, they will most ask you about QuickBooks. You also, I will be straightforward about that. You also have a chances to get a entry-level bookkeeping jobs when you just do your QuickBooks certification and understand how to do basic transactions. And you, with just QuickBooks certifications, you already can try to apply for jobs for like local accounting and bookkeeping firms and entry-level positions. You can do that with just QuickBooks certifications, but they will do quite. That's what the feedbacks I have is that they will get quite a bit of questioning regarding QuickBooks functionality. So you kind of have to learn QuickBooks very good, regardless other accounting knowledge you have. Do you understand that correctly, Olga, that you have a bachelor degree from the college? Bachelor in accounting or master's in accounting? Or what is certified in account? Or maybe you just have accounting courses, something else. I mean, if you have some degree, if you have a college degree, then it's then you probably can apply for the jobs with just a college degree for an entry level jobs. Hi Tamila. So QuickBooks, there is a free QuickBooks for accounting, and they have their own certification, and you can try to get an entry-level job with a QuickBooks certification alone. You don't need to study in my course, but depending on the job interview questions, it might not be enough to pass the job interviews if you just do QuickBooks certification. Sometimes they will be hard on a QuickBooks. Sometimes they can switch to general accounting theory. It will depend on the position description or the company you are applying for the job, because it's still quite a bit of depends on the person who interviews you. Okay, Andrei, we are going back to your question. Let's go back to the schedule, and let's try to go to so I opened lecture 2 from MIT, and because there is some lag in the streaming, you are just seeing it right now. And in that lecture, so it's lecture 2 from MIT about balance sheet, and you just scroll to slide 42, page 42, and that is just an example of the problems we are going to solve. So if we get that problem, let me just do a bit of setup here. So I'm setting up a Google Sheets file. So when we get a problem, we will first do a Google Sheets setup. So we will see how any transaction has an impact on trial balance and on financial statements, and then we re-enter that transaction to the QuickBooks. And for example, let's see what we have. So the company issued 50,000 shares of $10 par value. Debits, credits. So what we will do in the practice is to record these transactions, and we will look at transaction and see, okay, we issued 50,000 shares at $10. So we get $500,000 cash, and it looks like we created an equity. So some terms might not sound familiar to you, but we will learn them along the way. I don't guarantee that I will give you the definition of every term, so you will need to use Google from time to time, and Wikipedia and Investopedia will give you quite a good definitions of everything. So we will look at the transaction and say, okay, we have a cash impact of 500,000. Okay, so technically it's 50,000 times $10, and we have a respective credit of 50,000. And I keep credits negative. Sometimes you will see that credits are negative, and sometimes you will see them as positive. I will just keep them as negative because I want everything to balance to 0. And that file, it's actually in the module 0 homework folder, so you will have access to it after. You might be able to access it right now, or you might look at it after. So we need to decide where will debits go, where will credits go, and as we discussed a bit earlier, that will be cash and that will be equity. And let's do the second one. So the company acquires land and building costing $225 with the payment of 50 cash and the assumption of 20-year 8% mortgage for the balance. So they start to give you harder stuff, like starting from the second task. Okay, what we see here? We acquired land and building, and it's actually pretty interesting because you kind of have to reflect land and building separately on your balance sheets. But we don't have that detail because you usually don't depreciate land and you kind of depreciate building. But okay, let's call this property, plant and equipment. Okay, I probably need to give it full name. Okay, 225. And they also say that we gave 50%, 50k down payment minus 50,000, and we need to figure out where will credit go, and it will go to mortgage. Let's just call it mortgage, and we have the rest. Okay, going to mortgage. Let's take a pause here for a second. I will not do further tasks. The next step I want to show here is I will set up like a trial balance account. You in Quickbooks you will have your own trial balance account, which is kind of built in Quickbooks, but you will need to add new accounts there from time to time. So I will just show you. So that's our trial balance. Trial balance is like a list of all the accounts which you have in your company and respective amounts for some period. So let's say we have period 1. Okay, period 1. And here we need to say that these transactions happened in period 1. And let's see what. So we have cash, equity, property, plan. Yeah, we can probably copy everything here. Okay, and we just delete cash from here, and okay. So we have assets, liabilities, and equity. Let's just say these are headers. And I will use a SUMIF function here. Do you okay, I see. Okay, we have some quality issues. Let me do a full screen here. Okay, on my end currently, and I have 720. Okay, let's just do some. So this is what I see when I do streaming, and if I open that and I kind of select a quality, the highest quality I have on the streaming is 720p. I believe it's probably HD. You will see that screenshot in a few seconds. So if you click on the widget button and you select better quality, you might have a better quality, because right now I see that the quality, yeah, it's a bit blurry, but it's kind of workable. Okay, let's remove that back. A quick answer to Olga. You will use, depending on your position, you might use Quickbooks for most of your time, but I believe the knowledge of spreadsheets, of Google Sheets or Excel or other spreadsheet app, they are basically more or less the same. It's a kind of basic required knowledge for every accounting position. It's like just the basic functionality. You can't do much without that. I mean, in theory, you can use Quickbooks only as an app on your phone and just say, okay guys, why do I need to know how to use computer? I can only do Quickbooks on my phone, and that's all what I need for the job. But if you came to the job interview and tell a recruiter or something like that, she will just, the hiring manager or recruiter, they will just feel that it's not kind of an attitude that they expect from an employee, and it's kind of expected from the person to have some basic skill set, which includes like Microsoft Windows, spreadsheet, Google Docs or Excel, and word processor and ability to use Google search, ability to find Quickbooks, not a Quickbooks, ability to find guidance using Google, go to the IRS website, and if you have some complex transaction which is not ordinary, you are most likely to need a spreadsheet to be able to allocate the amount to the proper accounts. Hopefully that was enough. Let's get back to the practice example, and we will finish it with that. So I go here, I use SUMIF function, and SUMIF function needs 3 parameters to work. So first it needs a range to select from and sum range, and in the middle they have the criteria. So if we go here and we select that column and select the range with amounts, and we'll enter the criteria in the middle, and then we just copy all these functions here. Later, okay, let's just add totals. So what I did here, I used the SUMIF function to sum all the amounts which match the criteria. So I looked at the column B on the transaction tab, and the formula looks for every name in the column B which matches that criteria. So it looks for every cash mentioned in that column, and then it picks up every amount from the column C which matches that criteria. So if we go to the transaction tab and we highlight whatever we have in the cache, in yellow, so you can see the first one was incoming 500,000 cash, and the second transaction was outflow of 50,000 cash. And if we sum those two, we will have 450,000, which is exactly what the formula brought us. And like, for example, let's come up with a third transaction. Let's say that we paid 50,000 for mortgage. 50,000 mortgage, and we did it with cash. So we credited cash for 50,000, and it happened in the same period. So if we return to the main page, we already see that our cash decreased for those 400,000. Okay, I'll do some zoom. Yeah, Olga, I use Google Sheets because they are easier to manage for online and multiple users. And it's pretty hard to manage that with Excel. But the formulas and functionality in the Google Sheet and Microsoft Excel is the same. And Microsoft Excel is better for individual works. It has better functionality and better usability for individual. But when we do like multiple people projects, I still use Google Sheets. But recently Microsoft Excel Cloud or Office Cloud, I don't remember how exactly they called it, it also added that functionality. But it's kind of, it's not open source, and I don't have Excel currently on my personal computer, and I don't want to share my Excel from the work computer on multiple users, so I stick to Google Sheets currently. Okay, I added some functionality. For the next streaming, I will look into the settings to decrease the lag between audio and video. By the way, is there a big lag between audio and video, or is it fine? Does my voice correspond to what I'm doing in the spreadsheet, or is there a lag between the two? And what I listed here in the bottom, it's accounting. It's accounting equation, and we will cover that in more details in the next session. And another reason we look at the spreadsheet first and then go to the Quickbooks is because in the Quickbooks it will be harder for you to see the connection. So the next step in this will be creating a balance sheet. Actually, I did a bit of how to say it, a bit of simplification. So I basically took the trial balance and transformed it to balance sheet right on this page. Usually it is a bit more complicated than that. Like trial balance can have 6 different accounts for cash, especially if you have cash in several banks, or you have some short-term savings account or escrow account or any other stuff. You can have many cash accounts, and trial balance will usually list all your detailed accounts, like hundreds of accounts. I have some examples in my other files, and I will upload them to the module 0 for the next Saturday module into the practice sessions. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you for noting that. I will I will remove that. Just a second. Let me find where it is. Okay. So that was for the camera, and camera is not working right now. Yeah, let's. Hey Olga, do you want the examples for the transactions? Okay, let me go back a little and see if I didn't miss any questions. Okay, so here is a question from Oksana about, is it possible to do the practice yourself without creating a team? Yes, you will be able to do a practice, and nothing bad about it, but sooner or later in your career you will have to engage with other people, and the part of that course is kind of teach you to do that and give you some experience and give you some talking points for the job interviews, because it's often many people complain that after the university or courses or associate degree from community college, they complain that employers want experience, and nobody hires me without an experience, and how I get experience after the college if everyone wants someone with experience. And that course is a part of an effort to give a person some experience and to give them a talking point for the job interview. If, for example, on your resume, if you just list your education, that will be probably not enough for recruiters or for someone seeking an employee to kind of pick your resume for the next round of interviews. And if you leave your experience section totally blank. But if you participate in some projects like my course, this course, or if you go seek some other opportunities for some experience, you can list all of that in the experience section, and at least it will show recruiters or companies that you were actively searching for practice opportunities. And other opportunities are like you can ask if you live in an apartment building and you have homeowners association, you can ask your homeowners association if they have a bookkeeper and ask that bookkeeper if you can kind of shadow them or like help them with some routine task and learn what they are doing. Another place to get experience is like going to some charity or church and where you are some member, and ask if they have some accounting there, and you can practice on that too. It's pretty much if you are looking for a job and you have a problem with not getting through the interviews because of lack of experience, you need to exhaust all the opportunities, and that course is just an opportunity to kind of get some alternative experience to the real working experience. but if you think that that's not necessary for you, yeah, you can just do everything yourself. um, and another point, um, I other point about working in a team. So when you work in a team, you will establish some kind of a network or connections with some like-minded individuals in your field. And many years from now, you might need, or maybe those individuals might provide you some help or advice, or help you to get hired in the job you want. You never know what happened. And in my career, I had situations that when a connection established a long time ago in the past provided like a great help for my career or my situation. And my advice to everybody is to use every opportunity for networking and for connecting with like-minded people who can help you in your career. I understand that it has a negative aspect of it, and it may sound sketchy or uncomfortable, and you might be viewed as, oh, I don't know how to say it politely. You of course you need to do that politely, and if you do an outreach to a person, you can just make it in a neutral manner, saying, I am participating in the course, and I just wonder if you want to connect to discuss the matters we are studying on. And just being neutral, do not be pushy or, I don't know, arrogant or evil or somehow like that. Just do neutral outreach and try to connect with someone. But yeah, if you feel that you do not need that and you feel uncomfortable about it, feel free to skip that. I was just trying to design that in a way to give the maximum value to participants. Okay, refresh. Hi, Ainura. No, we just, there was a question about some examples of practical tasks, and I provided an example which showed how, what we will do during the course. So we do not do we did not do lecture today, and we will kind of redo something of that the next Saturday. I will try to put a battery into the camera and see if it will start. Does anyone have any more questions? Or maybe I missed some questions? Okay, I put a battery in the camera, so you should be able to see me for a few moments, at least a part of my face, which is not behind the microphone, because it's pretty hard to get a good setup for everything, and you really need a lot of place to place everything. Okay, so let's start with admin matters. If the start of the session on next Saturday, I have a plan here, and so module 0 will start at 10 a.m. East Coast time, which is 7 a.m. West Coast time. And in order to accommodate people from West Coast, because I don't believe people will get up at 7 a.m. for my lectures, I will start early sessions with Q&As regarding the previous week, and I also after that I will also do like a soft skills stuff, which is the lecture which you want to watch, which you can easily watch later in the day. This way, if people get up, say at 10 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is 7, so the people on West Coast can get up at 8 a.m. and still be in time for the actual accounting material. And soft skills is also a good stuff to know. And the lecture will be half of the lecture will be planned material, kind of a presentation and story and material, and then during the lecture feel free to ask questions, and after the lecture in the last 20 or 15 minutes or 10 minutes I will answer the questions, and so that's the plan. In the schedule you can find the documentation on the schedule of the presentations in that file. I will need to improve my skills into scheduling and sharing the YouTube translation link. I found that it was not that easy, but that I will do my best to stick to that spreadsheet file. You can actually find it in the accounting game folder, which should be shared for everyone, and here you have it, the schedule. To take a Quickbooks course, you do not have to have you do not have to have like a formal accounting education, and you can start from complete scratch, from zero knowledge, but you will, along the way, you will have to Google some terms and to get understanding of some terms on your own. And most of that there are actually several Quickbooks courses, and some of them are pretty basic, and most of them are about the functionality of Quickbooks. But while are you taking the course, I advise you to mate up some company. Just, I don't know, imagine you have an accounting firm, or imagine that you are baking some bread and cakes and you are selling them. Imagine that you have some small business and you do imaginary transactions for that business and you enter them into QuickBooks. And that is what we will try to do during our course. But when you do that on your own, you also do that. And part of the deal, and I don't actually know if it's available for QuickBooks for accountants or you need to pay separately for that. There is QuickBook app where you can scan the receipts from the shop, and it will create an accounting entry based on that receipt. And you also can upload a credit card statement or bank statement to QuickBooks, so you can test the basic functionality. Like imagine that you are having a real business with receipts from the Costco and bank statement for the credit card. You can take your personal credit card. The only drawback of that is that if you want to continue to use that account for real life, you will have to do some cleanup for that, which can take some time. Alternatively, you can register another QuickBook account for a new email. If you do that, you will need to retake the courses, which is also quite time consuming. So don't overcomplicate your future by doing a crazy lot of dummy transactions in your QuickBooks. I will answer CPA certificate. Let me see if I have any more questions. Okay, so we have a CPA certificate. So I got my CPA certificate. Mostly, I passed most of the stuff when I was working in the Big Four in PricewaterhouseCoopers. First, you need to register for exams. It is 4 exams. Let me see if I can find that. I will show requirements in my state, in Tennessee. So first you need to register for the exams, and just to register for the exams, they will give you quite a list of requirements, which usually includes a bachelor degree or higher degree. And it will also include a lot of requirements regarding the hours of accounting education. So what I did was I took my Ukrainian diploma, which was international economy, and I translated and certified it with a specialized organization. So I sent the originals to that organization, and they prepared a transcript, official transcript with ours. And I also added my ACCA certification. ACCA is a kind of similar to CPA, but for Europe or for international. It's Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. It's headquartered in Great Britain. but it's pretty popular in Big Four in Ukraine, Russia, and European countries, and maybe Australia and New Zealand too, and I believe some Asian countries too. So they counted some ACCA, and ACCA is like 12 exams, and they counted those hours too. So I have sufficient hours for accounting and stuff. And some people I know, they have degrees from their countries, from Asian countries, and they don't. If they don't have ACCA, you kind of have to take additional subjects in the community college or whenever you find and pay for that. The cheapest one is usually community college, and once you get the additional hours, they will register you for exams. And let's see. So if you go to AI CPA website, you will find most of the information about CPA exam. And as you can see here, there are 4 exams: auditing, business, financial accounting, and regulation. And they also published the passing marks here. For some reason, auditing and financial accounting have the lowest pass rates, and I have the most struggle with regulation, but maybe that's because I already have a big background in auditing and Big Four, so I didn't have much problem with first 3. Business is obviously the easiest one, I would say. So you register for the exam, prepare, sit the exam, pass the exam, that's all. You need to do all 4 in 24 months, I believe. So if you take first exam and you did 3 exams during the 2-year period, and when you are sitting your 4th exam, the first exam becomes more than 24 months old, it kind of expires and you need to take it again. So they use 24 rolling months period you need to fit all your 4 exams in that period. And I used Becker software, Becker package, which was provided by the company I worked for, and it was sufficient to prepare for the exam. So the certificates that I can issue is not kind of a certificate issued by the educational institution, so it won't provide you with much value as a certificate, and I don't think you usually attach the certificates to the CV or resume when you apply for the jobs. What I of course I can do the certificates just in case someone asks for it on your job interview, but the main value of the course is to have if you don't have a lot of practical experience on your resume, you need to kind of show the alternative experience which we were able to get while studying and not working. And if on the interview they will ask for some evidence that you actually attended the course, then that certificate might be handy. But I've never actually heard recruiters asking about some proof for the certificates from the trainings. They might check your diplomas or like CPA certification, which I also haven't heard checking CPA certification because it's not very wise to lie about it. But yeah, I will do certificates if for those who will show a good performance during the course. I think that, I mean, depending if you have like some general economic education from Ukraine or Russia or Kazakhstan or some European country or some Asian country, you don't have to take much additional accounting hours in United States. And if you do, that will probably cost you from several hundred to couple $1,000. But if your education is totally unrelated to accounting or general like business or economics, then you will have to spend $5,000-10,000 to meet all the requirements. Thank you, Andrei. Anyone more questions? I think we are running out of time. It's 10:30 p.m. Probably a good time to go to bed. Hey, Oksana, is it requirement in your state? Because let's see, I was taking the exams in California, and I don't think what state are you in, Oksana? Let me check real quick. Okay, Florida. Let's check Florida. I don't see a requirement for. I see 36-hour requirement, but I don't see. Okay, there is a 3 semester hours of business law based on US law. I think what I think is that if you live in a state where your requirements for CPA are quite stringent, I believe you can consider register for an exam in another state with a lower requirement and passing the exam there and then transferring the exams to your state. But I'm not sure if it will work out in every situation, because they might ask you to. So I've never done that, but I've heard that someone did that, and I don't remember which state they used to switch. So there is a pathway. If you get a CPA in one state, there are ways to transfer it to another state. Usually this if you get like an engineer diploma, you will get some hours from that, but usually you will have to take like a half of the bachelor of the accounting to kind of catch up to the educational requirements. Because they really want you to have a lot of accounting hours. Accounting or business related hours. So it's it will be pretty hard to get those hours. There is a way to get those hours at relatively low course, because you can go to community college, which is frequently free of charge in many of the states, and you can get most of the hours there, but the community college may not provide some specific hours. Okay, so if you already spoken to advisors and they didn't give you the way to get CPA at lower costs, that's probably what it is for your case. I would only probably advise you to try to get some entry-level position in some company, and do some research to see if some companies in your area can cover education loans, or somehow pay for part or full of your education. The companies usually will not pay much, but I remember some big four companies, they were paying like a first $100 of your student loan per month, which probably won't cover all the payment, but it can still cover quite a bit of costs. And the 50,000, I mean, I understand there is a question regarding the quality of the education, but I believe I've heard about some, I would say, hacking of the US bachelor's and master's degree, and it can be done with some online universities. However, I do not know how that will match your CPA requirements or not. So basically, if you go and get the degree in some of these universities, it can cost you like $5,000-$10,000, but you need to be prepared to undergo a lot of paperwork for like seeking for free credit hours somewhere, doing those free credit hours or cheap credit hours, and then submitting to paperwork to the university, which allows students to submit a lot of credit hours from other sources, and it can get pretty complicated. And also another, I see that $50,000. Have you heard about Harvard Extension School? So it's kind of a remote education in Harvard, like in real Harvard with the same professors. And the master's degree in finance there costs $30,000, if I'm not wrong. And you can come there with bachelor's degree from elsewhere. Again, I didn't investigate it much, but it looks like it's a good deal for the cost, especially if you already got some bachelor's degree from the other country. On the other hand, I'm not sure if you will be able to cover all CPA requirements with that master's degree from Harvard Extension School. Let's Harvard Extension School courses. Okay, that's course catalog. So I opened, so if you Google finance for Harvard Extension School and you scroll down to the cost, you will see that they say that average total cost is $35,000, and there is a couple of ways to bring it down by several $1,000s. I believe they have a partnership with edX, and you can take some courses on edX, and it can decrease the cost of the master's degree. But again, they have an entry requirements too, and one of the requirements is that you have to have a bachelor degree, and also if you have a master's degree from your company in that field, they will not allow you to take that. Okay, let's say I can answer one more question. Oh, okay, I will answer the question about IRS. I cannot say much about IRS, but when I call the IRS with my question and I sit on a call and wait for an hour or half an hour, and then I got an answer from the person on the IRS side doesn't sound like a happy person. Maybe it's just a call center, or maybe they hire people who like to be very unhappy on the calls, but it doesn't, based on the calling, my experience to call the IRS, it doesn't sound like a good job. And we also have auditors, IRS auditors coming to our company from time to time to audit some minor matters, and based on their methodology and the documents they request, it doesn't look like they have a good methodology or research, or that they get like a very valuable knowledge and experience on that job. However, in some sections in some positions in IRS, I believe you can get a valuable experience, and you can later kind of sell your knowledge to some bigger corporation for a good position. But I would say that's rather an exception to the rule, and the amount of effort to make a career in IRS or to make a successful transfer from IRS to the corporation is probably not beneficial compared to the regular career in a corporation or in an accounting firm. But that's my impression from that. Okay, last question, if anyone have one. Okay, thank you everyone. I'll see you next Saturday. I will try to air couple of general videos and finish everything which is yellow in the schedule, so that we are good to go for the module 0 for the next week. Thank you. Bye bye.